evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner. This is episode number 268, The Birds, the classic 1963 Alfred Hitchcock natural suspense thriller. And with me tonight to discuss this classic is my friend, my co-host, the one and only, Mr. Ross Amico. And joining us via Zoom, aka StreamYard, is my lovely wife, Shari.
Did somebody say birds? Where? Where?
Uh-oh, she's got props, Ross. Look out.
I can see that.
You know, I always have to use props.
Although now that you've closed the shades, I don't see the birds in the background anymore, though.
I know. He made me close the shades.
If you want to open it, I can boot you out and bring you back in.
That's okay. I can hear them all.
Okay.
Anyway, this should be a fun show. So we've talked about doing this movie for a while, maybe about 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't remember you mentioning doing this one.
No, actually, it came to be because we just did North by Northwest, which was, of course, directed by Alfred Hitchcock, just like this film was. So I was like, the Alfred Hitchcock connection. This might work. Anyway, I want to say hi to our viewers that are out there joining us. I see Jerry is out there. Welcome, Jerry. Thanks for being on the show in the virtual land. And Vince is out there.
Hi,
Vinny. And I see Randy Lee is joining us. Welcome, Randy.
Randy.
And Ken Hutchins is directing us. Directing us. Oh, boy. I see Michelle Diato is also out there. Hey, Michelle. And also Bill is out there, and I got to meet Bill in person at Ticonderoga, in Ticonderoga, at the William Shatner event just 2 weeks ago. So good to see you out there, Bill. And Lou is joining us.
Aww.
Hey, Lou, thinking about you, and thanks for being out there. And also Don is out there. Welcome.
Hi, Donnie.
Don.
That's my cousin. Hi, Donnie.
And I think I've covered everybody that's out there. So welcome, everyone. We're looking forward to discussing this film, this classic from 1963. Oh, wait a minute. I see somebody else that's out there.
Uh-oh. Hi, Mom. Hi, Glenn. My mom is my bird buddy.
Aw. Hi, Mom and Glenn. Good to see you out there. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us, everyone, as always. So we're looking forward to talking about this. You know, it's funny. I remember when Shari and I started dating, and I found out that she was a birder, and I remember mentioning this movie, and she was like, "No." It's not like that.
I saw it when I was a little girl, so it freaked me out. I was only like 6.5 when it came on the TV.
Yeah, it's interesting you were saying that, Shari, because when it was actually televised on NBC, and I think it was back in 1968. For at least 2 years, it held the record as far as the most watched, or actually up until that time, it's the most watched televised movie. And then it was later on beaten out by Love Story, which had Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw in it. But it was actually one of the most viewed movies, made in the theater, but televised on the network. So.
It surpassed Bridge on the River Kwai.
Ooh, somebody's been doing their homework. Ooh, Spock.
Oh.
Anyway.
Did you see my shirt?
No.
It's tie-dye, and then it's got a bird on it. My mom got me this.
It's a booby.
It's a booby.
Is it a brown booby?
No, it's a blue-footed booby.
Blue-footed booby.
Look how scary he looks. It'd be scary if he came after you. Ooh. But I thought it was cool because it was tie-dye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, thus the connection. So what do you say about that, Ross?
I brought no props.
He's speechless.
It's all in here, Roy.
We're all doomed. Oh shoot, it's good to laugh. Let me see here. Yeah, Bill's saying NBC Saturday Night Movie.
I saw the one question, I forget who it was, asked about how many birds were used in the movie. It was 3,200 birds.
Yeah.
3,200. That's a lot of birds.
That's a
Take
lot of
that,
birds.
Ken.
Plus
Yeah.
the mechanical birds.
Right. And animated birds and hand puppets.
Yeah.
They had the whole
Yeah.
But
The
that's
whole-
a lot of birds. Where the heck did they put them all on the set?
Michelle is saying parrots are tie-dye. No. Anyway, so with that said, yeah, let's dive in. And Shari was just saying about when she first saw this movie. How about you, Ross? Do you have any recollections of that?
You know, I've seen it a number of times. I know I saw it on the big screen at least once. You know, for me, it's not my favorite Hitchcock movie. It's a very effective Hitchcock movie, but for me, it's kind of like Hitchcock's Jurassic Park. You know what I mean? It's a thrill ride when you're watching it, and then afterwards, it just evaporates. You know, I mean, compared to Psycho and North by Northwest and Vertigo and Rear Window and so many of the others, you know, I think this is his 3,200 Birds. This is his last. I think this is his last really big success. Although I looked at the ranking of top 10 grossing Hitchcock films, and unbelievably, like the best ones are not the highest grossing, except for Psycho. Psycho is number one. But yeah, some of the ones that came after this were high grossers, which is funny because this is like his last, you know, really solid movie. He made some that. What's that?
This was the last film to get that he did that actually got an Academy Award nomination too, right?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Because, you know, he made some British movies later. He did Frenzy, which was well received. And the last film he did was Family Plot, which John Williams did the music for, with Bruce Dern and Barbara Harris, who's cute as a bug. But, you know, that was an American production. But, you know, this one was a big hit. So,
Yeah.
And as far as classic Hitch goes, I think this is probably, for me, the last one. I know that Frenzy lovers will take issue with that, but I mean, this very much looks like the great movies he made in the 50s. You know, it still has that Technicolor and the big stars, and who weren't big at the time. Well, Rod Taylor had done The Time Machine,
Right. And that was only that was only 3 years earlier that had came out because that came out in 1960.
Yeah, and I shouldn't say that they weren't big stars because every part that had kind of a substantial role in the film, they were all, you know, recognized actors at that point, except for Tippi. She was new. Although she was in a television commercial, apparently, a popular television commercial for a diet drink. And I didn't, this is something where if you're not from the time, you miss the significance of it. But when she has her entrance and the person whistles at her and she whips around, that's what she does in the commercial. So audiences,
right.
Yeah. So audiences at the time would have drawn that connection immediately, but it's lost on.
What was it for? Was it for Tab?
I don't know.
Probably that, like the diet drink back then was Tab.
Was Tab around in 63?
I think that was like the first diet drink. I think.
All I know, everything back then had cocaine in it.
How about you, Roy? When was the first time you saw this movie?
Just like other movies that I saw for the very first time, like this, it was on Channel 9, WOR TV out of New York City. And they would run it was like the $1 Million movie. I think that was, or the 4:30 movie. Actually, no, the 4:30 movie was on ABC. The $1 Million movie, I think that they did. So I probably saw it sometime in the 70s is when I saw it. I did not get the opportunity to see this on the big screen, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
In regards to the soda, it was Sago Diet Soda, SEGO, which I never heard of.
Oh, wow. Never heard of that.
Yeah, so just to throw that out there. But yeah, and I saw this movie in different parts, though. The first time I saw it, again, it was not in its completed, you know, not from beginning to end. It was like catching it here and there. almost like you remember Ross when we did the movie Planet of the Vampires.
Yeah, right. Every time you
Mario.
put on the TV, it was on. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they would always show that film, and then I would always catch it at the same point in time. I would never see like the beginning. I would like miss the first like 40 minutes of it, and it'd always pick up with Barry Sullivan, finding out that his brother died, and then that this virus was going on. But I digress.
Yeah.
With this film, it was around. It was when right after the schoolhouse scene where Suzanne Pleshette, pretty much well. Spoiler alert, folks! It's a 62-year-old movie, but where
There's a lot of spoiler alert.
she
Yeah.
dies.
Well, and I shouldn't say. All right, I want to revise what I said about it being the last of the classic Hitchcock movies, even though it is. The next film he did, Marnie, will have some people that will root for that film, and it's a good movie. But it's not.
I never saw that film.
Yeah, well,
I
she's
want to
in
check
it
it out though, but that's her second film with Hitchcock.
Yeah, Hedren's in that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bruce Dern's in it.
And Suzanne Pleshette, I think, was asked to be in it, but then she pretty much wanted to be a leading lady. She didn't want to be a supporting actress.
Yeah.
Interesting too. Suzanne Pleshette was only like 25 years old when she did this movie, and Tippi Hedren was advertised as far as being in the 20s, but she was 32.
Yeah, she lied about her age because it was the beginning of her film career, and she didn't. That was considered, a little bit at the top of the hill at that point. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and yet they're both, a little old for the roles. You would think. I mean, look how old Rod Taylor is living with his mom and Tippi. Yeah. When you're a kid, you have such a skewed view of reality based on these movies. It's like you figure out when you're 50, you're kind of, just starting to date.
So here's a question for you guys. Did it scare you when you saw it?
You're always taking a drink, so I have to talk.
Was it scary?
For me, I thought it was suspenseful. In scenes, you can't think about it too much because, there are some scenes that just don't make any sense. But you could say that for the crop duster scene in North by Northwest. There's no reason at all for Tippi to go into that room.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you said that, Ross, because she was looking for the motivation to go in there, and she even questioned Hitchcock about that. And his response to her asking, "Why do I go in the room?" and he said, "Because I told you to."
and Hitchcock. Yeah. Well, there's a whole thing between the two of them,
right?
With I don't know.
Well, my mom said that she saw it in the big screen at the State Theater.
Oh, okay.
That must have been.
I would have loved to seen it on the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound really gets you on the big screen too.
Yeah, the State Theater
because
was
it's
great.
all around you. I didn't see it on the initial release, of course, but
did it scare you, Mom?
I think anything where there's a large number swarming you can kind of get you crawly.
Yeah.
I don't have well, that's the thing. Who has a phobia about birds? You know what I mean? So that's why it's so brilliant to take something that's just everyday kind of, we take it for granted and never, but it's kind of I would say it's a precursor of the, when animals attack genre, except there were earlier examples. There was Charlton Heston fighting the army ants and Naked Jungle. And there were the atomic bee movies in the 50s where you always had like tarantulas and
rabbits.
Yeah. Well,
Rabbits.
By the time you get to the 70s, right, exactly. The Night of the Lepus with DeForest Kelley and Rory Calhoun. Yeah. Then you start getting all the... they really started in with the environmental, frogs with Ray Milland and, what's the one with... oh, man. It doesn't have an animal in the title. But they did Grizzly, of course. There was...
Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was thinking of Prophecy, which is really not. It's like some deformed bear.
Yes, that was with.
Definitely Talia Shire.
Yes, Talia Shire, and then it was also Robert Foxworth, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think he was the love interest to her.
Okay. But
That came out
definitely,
in 1980. I remember watching that on Prism. That's why I have a distinct memory.
definitely
Shari,
Kingdom of Spiders, though. Definitely, yeah.
yeah. Did it scare you or
Shari or me?
oh Shari?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did what scare me?
Did the movie scare you when you first saw it?
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking to Ross. It scared me when I was 6.5 years old when I saw it. When I just saw it last week, it made me laugh.
Uh, this is the most easily parodied, I think, other than Psycho. I mean, if a person on the street pictures an Alfred Hitchcock movie, it's either Psycho with the shower scene or it's The Birds.
Yeah.
Even people that don't really know the Birds know the Birds.
Right.
It is because it is so easy to parody. I mean, how many times have we seen, the birds on the Jungle Gym or the birds at the phone booth?
William.
Yeah.
Bill is saying I was 8 years old. Yes, it scared me.
Yeah, it's scary.
Michelle is saying, not me. No phobia here, just when they scream and screech.
Right.
And then she said, spiders, however, no, thank you. Well, you know what I thought was interesting? For me, it was kind of nerve. I mean, I was younger too, but it didn't like scare me to like. Well, let me put it to you this way: I was more afraid of watching the dragon from Dragon's Domain in Space 1999 when I was 10 years old, and seeing it pretty much sucking people in with its tentacles and then spitting them out, and as like a fire breathing dragon, than I was with the birds. The birds, though, what was really interesting was the photography too, and especially at the schoolhouse where she just is walking, and then there's like maybe one or two that are on the monkey bars or the jungle gym area, and then what happens is they're doing these cutaway scenes of her smoking her cigarette, and then they're just showing like maybe one bird here landing and another bird here landing, and then she's just being really nonchalant and passing the time, looking at her watch. And then all of a sudden she hears up in the sky a bird flying, and then she's like looking and she follows it all the way in, and she turns around and she pretty much sees that there's like 1,000 birds that are just like congregating. I mean, I thought that was pretty effective.
Yeah, effective but funny too. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, did you see High Anxiety? Right. Parody of that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a good parody.
I love that movie. I haven't seen that movie in years. That is just a fun. I mean, Mel Brooks is the best.
Yeah.
And
The
just to give a
Blob.
shout,
The Blob scared the crap out of me when I was
yes,
a kid. The Blob.
Blob.
Oh, that scared me so much.
The Blob keeps coming up too, and Ross and I keep talking about it because this weekend is Blob Fest.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. In
It's an annual event.
Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, if you're in the
Oh,
area.
jeez.
Yeah. It's tonight and tomorrow and I guess Sunday.
Oh, that's fun.
It's actually taking place at they have where the movie theater was that they utilized for the film, where when it comes through into the movie theater, the Blob is coming through, and then everybody's comes screaming out of the movies and they're yelling because the Blob is there, and what they do is they do a reenactment of that.
Yeah.
That's
And they
cool.
show science fiction movies and they have vendors and everything
Well, that
else.
sounds
so-
like fun.
Yeah, I know. Every year though, we just manage not to make it. So other things
Right.
going on.
Randy said, funny you mentioned Dragon's Domain. I challenged my wife to watch it, keeping in mind that I first saw it in second grade.
Mm.
Michelle says, I won't watch The Blob because it consumed a kitten. Nope.
Oh.
Yeah, that actually was in the Son of the Blob, believe it or
Oh.
not. Because
Really?
that really just because the opening credits of the Son of the Blob, what happens is it's like the camera is following this kitty cat around like through the garden and everything, and it's just like running all around. And then the guy comes home, and his name is Chester, and he found this substance, and he had put it in the freezer. But then what happens is he leaves it out, and then it gets out, and then what happens is it gets the cat, and then it goes onto his chair, onto his big chair, and they do this scene where he backs up and he's like going to sit down, and the Blob is like waiting for him, and then he's like, oh, he's not going to sit. Then he stands up, and then he's going to sit, and then what happens is it cuts away, and
It
then
turns into a whoopee cushion. Yeah.
and then his wife comes in, and then he's like decomposing and he's screaming.
He sat on a shmoo. Yeah. But I think they repeated that though, because I think they did do it in the Blob. With the
You know who
cat.
directed that movie, by the way?
I forget.
The
Who?
second one,
Who?
Son of the
I don't
Blob, Larry Hagman.
Oh, really? Well, there you go.
Oh, Donnie did the blob. Donnie did the blob fest. He said.
Oh, okay.
Tell
Oh
us
wow,
about that, Don.
that sounds like fun.
Not that
Yeah,
we love
keep
wrestling.
meaning
We'll
to
have
go.
to go.
We'll have to do that. Michelle said, "Was it? I just can't. I'm an old softie."
Oh,
Anyway, yeah. But back to the movie.
Well, I think anybody that's ever tried to eat French fries on a New Jersey boardwalk understands the reality of this movie
yes,
because you're just assailed by seagulls.
yes.
I've seen people like unsuspecting people walk away from. There's a place in Wildwood that has a kiosk out in the middle of the boardwalk, and people buy these. They're great fries. I can't remember the name of the place, but the birds are all just waiting up there. And unsuspecting people walk away with their big cup of fries, and the bird comes swooping down, and they'll take them right out of the cup, or knock the cup out of their hands. Or,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. When
That
we're
could
on
have been us.
when we're on the beach, we say to people, don't feed. There'll be one little gull there, and they'll be like, "Oh, let's feed the little gull." And then all of a sudden, there's like 50 gulls flying all over everybody's heads and going on everybody's blankets, and everybody gives the people evil looks that are feeding the gulls because they're like all over the place. Oh, and I had a gull take a donut. We go to Dunkin' Donuts before we go on the beach, and I bring donuts, and I had a gull steal a bag of my donuts, and I went running after it.
My mom once had a Coke can on the beach or some kind of soda can, and she was there with the things on her eyes, and a gull came up and drank out of the can.
You can't leave anything out. You can't leave anything out.
You really have to. Yeah, you do have to lock up your food. You definitely do.
Isn't it romantic though, like Three's Company, where you throw stuff to the gulls?
No.
They're
Not if you want them to
song.
poop on your head.
Come and knock on my door.
Oh no, he's singing.
Hey.
Anyway,
but no, there's nothing like boardwalk fries. Actually, I think that's the name of the place down in Seaside.
So it wasn't inspired by eating French fries on the boardwalk. It was inspired by a short story by Daphne du Maurier, but also a real life incident. They got mentioned at a point that by happenstance, because Hitchcock already had bought the rights for the story. He had made 2 other films based on du Maurier books. I mean, he did Rebecca, which was his only Academy Award winner for Best Picture back in 1940. And he did Jamaica Inn before that with Charles Laughton and Maureen O'Hara and Robert Newton, who's Long John Silver in Treasure Island. He was in it as well. It was about what are known as wreckers, people that are they're like land pirates in Cornwall. They lure in ships with false lights, and then when the ships are wrecked, they take all the anything of worth off the ship, and kill everybody. So anyway, he had done du Maurier stories before, but this one he had purchased thinking it was going to be for an Alfred Hitchcock Presents in 1955. By happenstance, though, in 1961, before this movie came out, there was a real life incident. It was reported in a Santa Cruz paper that in North Monterey Bay that there was actually a seabird invasion in this village, and the same thing. The birds were coming in and crashing through windows and attacking people and everything. And it turned out it was toxic algae that drove them crazy. You never get a reason in this movie why they're going crazy. They leave it open.
But I think it's better that they do leave it open because it really it leaves more to the imagination with that.
Yeah. So Hitch is famous for we talked about it before, North by Northwest, the MacGuffin, where they throw something out like, oh, it's a microfilm or this or that. It doesn't have to be anything important. It's just an idea to get the plot going. He doesn't even bother in this movie. You don't know why the birds are going crazy. But it's interesting that it was topical like that from 1961, that actually happened. So it would be, fresh in the audience's minds at the time that this really, is not so far-fetched.
And it was like literally 2 days before Shari's birthday. So
I saw that.
I thought that was appropriate that actually took place because...
Before my birth.
Well, that too, yeah.
My actual birth.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was the same year, which is kind of
Yeah,
cool.
61.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had a ruffed grouse, which is like a game bird up in Canada. We have a cabin on an island, and this was years ago. And I was out on the screen. I was out on the porch, but it still had the glass windows on. And this ruffed grouse came crashing through the glass window. And here he had eaten some berries and got like drunk, made him drunk, and crashed through the window and scared the you know what out of me and my cat. So there.
Was it okay?
No, he died. He's
Wow.
dead. Yeah, I found out later from the people that own the marina that that's what happened. They eat these berries, and they get like drunk, and they crash through things. And it's a good sized bird. It's like a big chicken. So yeah, that was exciting. And then one time, my mom and I were walking at the end of the island, same place, and we saw these cute little peeps. And we were like, oh, look at the cute little peeps over there. And we went to go see them. And all of a sudden, this huge turkey comes running out, chased us up the path. And we were like running with our binoculars, like trying to get it away from us with our binoculars. I would have loved to have that on video. So I've had a few run-ins with birds, but the main reason mostly that a bird will attack you is if you're near its babies or you're near its nesting, where it's nesting, because they're very territorial and very protective of their young. And another time I was on the Delaware River in a canoe, and we got too close to a mute swan nest. Now, mute swans are huge, and the male and the female, came to the canoe and were slamming our canoe with their wings because we got too close to the nest. So yeah, I've had some run-in with birds, but the main reason is if you're too close to their nest, they'll come at you, or they'll even peck your head.
Yeah, the geese will come right after you. Yeah, the male geese. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I remember when I was working in Hampton, New Jersey, and going out to the car from the building, and there were Canadian geese, and there was a nest that was close by to where the car was. And what happened was, I'm assuming it was the male, came out and was basically yelling at the people, just stay away. And then
Canada geese are very aggressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of Canada, I just wanted to say hi to Warren. Warren's joining us, and he is joining us from Canada.
Hi, Warren.
Let me see. Michelle made a comment about the berries that you were talking about, and said that pulp berries do that to the birds and gets them drunk.
Pulp berries. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I didn't know what kind of berries they were.
Let's see. And Randy said birds attack because they know they used to be dinosaurs, and frankly, they haven't forgotten.
So it really is Hitch's Jurassic Park.
Oh, boy.
So there are really 8 Jurassic Park movies.
Swans are nasty. They can be nasty.
Yeah.
Mute swans. So my reason, I think, for the birds attacking, in my mind, is, this is going to be funny, but they wanted them to let the lovebirds out of the cage. Because, believe it or not, most birders, not all, and there are people that have birds, caged birds, which is fine, but most birders do not like caged birds. We want to see them out in the wild, flying around. And so that was my reason, that they were mad that they had the lovebirds in the cage. And they wanted them to let them out of the cage.
I like your reason. I do. I don't think any of the characters in the movie are sympathetic.
No.
That's the thing. It's like Tippi's a complete, her character is forget about it. Rob's character is self-absorbed. And
So
his mom's neurotic.
I know they're all neurotic.
They all have their things going on.
Yeah. So and Suzanne Pleshette, her character's got stuff going on. So
Oh yeah.
it's really, I don't know who you're supposed to be rooting for in this movie, but once the birds start attacking, of course, it becomes a visceral thing. But it's like, dude,
Now,
really,
to interject real quickly though, Richard Deegan, who was in this movie, he had a small role. He was playing the neighbor of Mitch, who is whatchamacallit, Rod Taylor. What happens is she was going to leave a present for Mitch, and it was the lovebirds. And what happened was Richard Deegan's character, the neighbor, realized that they were birds, and he told her and said, "I don't think you will want to leave these here because Mitch is going to be gone for the weekend."
Yeah.
So she didn't just leave them there; so she took them with her. So we have to give credit where credit is due to Melanie's character.
Yeah, there you go. And there was also like a few things where it was blatant disrespect to the birds. Other than the fact that they were in the cage, there was some talk about. There's some talk about like were they making chicken or something at some point, and I don't know. There were a few things where it's like, well, are all these things preparing us for the bird attacks?
Yeah.
Warren is saying, please don't judge all Canadians by the aggressiveness of our geese.
But a caged bird is a bird that has been captured in another country where it's supposed to be, like in Africa or Madagascar or Asia. Captured, wings are clipped, brought over here, and they make money off of that. And a lot of birders don't like that because then the species, can become endangered because they are doing that a lot. So that's what a caged bird is. It's from another country. It's supposed to be flying around, and now it ends up in a cage. So don't like caged birds, even though I pet sit for a few caged birds. But I know some people have them, so that's how I feel.
Are they also the ones well, I shouldn't go into it, but are they all clipped, or is it just the ones that they're selling in the cages?
I think they mostly.
Yeah, because I've known people that had parakeets and stuff where they let them out and they fly around and do crazy things.
Yeah, because I remember my grandmother had a parakeet, and he used, and I don't remember. I'd have to ask my dad, but he used to fly around, and I remember my dad saying, even before I was born, my grandmother, she had parakeets, and she took really good care of them and everything, and they would definitely, she'd let it out and they would fly and do that. Just want to say hi to Martin. Martin is joining us as well from New York. Hi, Martin. And let's see, Michelle just commented. She said, I do know that birds from South America had a ban on imported ones. I don't agree with wing clipping. When I got Nova, that's right. Michelle has, Nova. When I got Nova, he was clipped and I let him grow them out.
Oh, so
I
they
didn't
can
know that.
on some of them.
Yeah, so that's good. And Ken said, my cats have free run of my condo.
Whoops.
When cats attack.
But the first bird that she was talking about in the pet shop was a myna bird. And they're from Asia, and they're mimics. That's when she asked the lady in the pet shop if it talks, and she said, well, you have to teach it to talk. And that's the bird that she went originally to the pet shop to buy for her Aunt Tessa, I guess. And I don't know if anybody watches Johnny Carson or used to watch Johnny Carson, but Howard, the bird that he had on the show a couple of times, was a myna bird. And he would say, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
Remember him?
Yes.
Ha, ha, ha. And Johnny Carson would just like crack up because every time Johnny Carson said something, ha, ha, ha. But that was the myna bird.
But do you remember in the Warner Brothers cartoons, they had the myna bird? They would always be depressed and come walking in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It's behind its back.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say with its hands behind its back. Yeah, right.
His hands.
Very pensive myna
And
bird.
I believe the lovebirds were peach-faced lovebirds. If anybody cares, there's like 9 different species of lovebirds.
Wow.
Yeah.
9.
This is a perspective we wouldn't have brought to the movie, so it's good. Worth having your
I know a
expertise.
lot about birds. I have people that send me, and I know a lot of birds just by hearing them. I have a lot of people that send me audio on my phone and ask me what kind of bird am I hearing. So
See, you are an app.
I'm an That's why my name's Bird Lady Bundy.
Oh boy.
I loved her. Oh my God, she was so funny. Oh my God.
Oh, let me put up a
Oh,
picture.
I would love to play her. She was. My vocation is an ornithologist, and I don't think birds are going to do that. It was just so damn funny. Oh my God. And then she was telling the Latin names for the blackbird and for the crow. Or was it the raven? The raven and the blackbird, or the crow and the raven. She's like, or the crow and the blackbird. She's like, they are completely different species. And then she's naming the Latin names. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Griffey's. Yeah.
She was great.
She was definitely having fun with that.
I loved her.
Oh, Marianne is out there. Hey, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
She's joining us. She says, in the movie The Birds, Tippi nearly lost her eye in the bedroom scene as the birds were tied at the base of their feet and were freaked out. Of course, Hitchcock kept filming and included in the film. Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, Marianne.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that would not happen today. I mean, they would definitely use CGI, but to do, I mean, he was tying their beaks down, and I think some of them actually had pins in their beaks, and then they were going after the balloons to make them pop. Just not good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many birds were injured. I found no statistics on that. They did rescue the one bird that got out that had the beak taped shut. I read that because they were afraid it would starve to death.
Yeah,
so they were able to bring it in. But yeah, I mean, it was traumatic for Tippi, but imagine how traumatic it was for the birds.
Yeah, exactly.
It took 7 days apparently to shoot that scene.
Wow.
With her in that room.
Yeah,
and afterwards she was hospitalized because she had nervous exhaustion from having birds thrown at her for 7 days. Yeah.
Well, it sounded like too when she started out. I mean, Hitchcock had found her and pretty much discovered her, signed her up for a 7-year contract even before really auditioning her, and was really taken with her. And she had not, she was more of a model than an actress, and had appeared on the cover of Life magazine, Vogue. There was a couple others, and then this was a break, after doing the commercials. But what happened was he was pretty much teaching her, giving acting, advice, and she even said within the 3 years that she was with him, she probably learned what she would have been like if she was attending classes. It would have been like a 15-year period of time, but he became very obsessed with her and very possessive and very controlling, limiting who she would speak to, and even after they would shoot. And she is the mother of Melanie Griffith, which I'm sure everybody knows. And
the grandmother of Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson, thank you. Yeah.
I continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But anyway, she was really being controlled, and she did this movie. And what was the title of the next movie, Ross, that she did?
Oh, Marnie.
Marnie. Yeah.
I also read that she got hurt in the telephone booth scene because the mechanical bird went into the glass, and the glass broke and went into her face.
Yeah. Hitch, he was a genius, but he got away with a lot of stuff because of his sense of humor and his charm and what have you. But he was definitely a weird fellow, and could become obsessed with some of his leading ladies, and I think Tippi got the worst of it.
Yeah.
I mean, she came out later on to say a lot of stuff about what she had to endure with him, and he was just sadistic, with her. He was obsessed with he loved the blondes, all of his leading ladies in that era, Grace Kelly and Kim Novak and Eva Marie Saint. And, I don't know if Eva Marie ever had any problems with him, but she was definitely the blonde, type.
It sounded like Kim Novak did not have any incidents, because I guess when Tippi Hedren was hesitant about like talking about some of this, and I think there was a documentary that was done, and then she came out about some of the things that she tolerated, and a lot of people were like defending Hitchcock, saying that he wasn't like that, but you know,
Yeah, it's
not
it's interesting because when you look at it in retrospective, then Vertigo becomes so autobiographical, like an autobiographical psychological self-analysis of Hitchcock with Jimmy Stewart's obsession with Kim Novak's character in the film and all the crazy extents, that he goes to make her in his own image, kind of thing, remake her. And Hitchcock kind of did that with Tippi later. I was going to say something about Tippi being harassed by Hitch, and I can't think. Oh well, I mean, one of the things he did was when the young Melanie Griffith visited the set, he gave her a little doll of Tippi in a coffin.
Right. I read
nice. Well, nice.
Woo, he was weird.
Yeah, I mean, imagine. I mean, daughter's going to get traumatized from that. Don said, "You have to check out Tippi and Melanie's in Roar. It's great."
I wanted to mention Roar. This is a movie that came. Do you know about this movie? It came out in '81. Google the trailer on YouTube. You're not going to believe this movie. It was an All in the Family production because Melanie Griffith's husband at the time, Noel Marshall. This was like his dream project. It was set on a preservation, and they just filmed with real lions. I mean, they went in with lions, and everybody in the family got mauled. The director of photography was, I guess in English we'd say Jan de Bont. I don't know if it's Jan de Bont or what, but he's the director of Speed. He went on to do Speed.
Yeah.
But he got scalped by a lion. Everybody got. Melanie Griffith required cosmetic surgery. She had to have something reconstructed. Everybody got a horrible, maulings from this movie. But it's you'll never forget the trailer. That's hilarious. It's called Roar.
Well, it's interesting because I saw some photos of, I think there was a child that was in a bed with a lion.
Yeah, boy. It took them 11 years to film the thing.
Everybody
kept getting hurt, and they kept running out of money. But she, in real life, she's a big animal activist, animal rights activist.
Yeah. I was talking when we were on Mike and Mary Beth's show. I was talking about this. There was a park, and this is a Star Trek connection, folks. Who remembers the Star Trek episode Shore Leave? They did some of the filming at what was called Africa Park, USA. Mm-hmm. Later on, that park became an area that Tippi Hedren had purchased, or like a animal sanctuary. Now I think it no longer is that, but some folks out there might know, and I think Lou who's out there might remember, because I remember we were talking about that. But anyway, that it's a beautiful area, and they did a lot of filming of different movies and television shows there, and again, of course, Star Trek. Yeah, and Bill's making a comment. He's saying, did Siegfried and Roy make that movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Very tragic.
Check it out, Roar, not Roy. Roy.
Martin said, I watched part of Roar but gave up.
Yeah.
Marianne quoted Alfred Hitchcock quote, "Blondes make the best victims. They're like virgin snow that shows up with the bloody footprints."
Oh, there you go. That'll fly today.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Hitchcock.
I'm going to share the YouTube trailer that Ross was talking about. It's in the comments section, folks. If you want to check it out, I'm just posting it out there so you can check out. Roar.
Well, I didn't bring it up. Somebody else brought it up. I was going to mention it, but it was brought up in the comments. So.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, Mark brought it up. Sorry, Martin.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, it was funny how everybody was smoking in this movie too, right? The women all smoking. Even Bundy, she was smoking. The ornithologist talking about the birds, she's smoking away. Everybody's
smoking everywhere.
It's just so funny to see that because nowadays you don't see that.
No. Just come over to somebody's house for dinner and light up.
Oh, you know what I wanted to mention? I thought it was interesting. The restaurant that they used, the Tides restaurant,
Yeah.
the owner of that actually got to pretty much have a cameo because I guess Hitchcock had approached him about using using it for the film, and one of his requests was that the main character have his name, and that name being Mitch. And
Oh,
what happens is Hitchcock followed through with that, but he also gave him a cameo, and in the cameo, he has one line, and he says, "What happened, Mitch?" So,
oh,
which I thought was kind of cool.
This moment of fame. Yeah.
Yeah. Lou's commenting. He said, "Yes, it's called Shambola.
Shambhala.
It's
Shambhala.
it's still there, but under different management now. I've been there several times, and
Oh,
that was Africa Park,
okay.
USA."
Did you know that Alfred Hitchcock also does cameos in his movies?
He
Oh,
does, and he
yeah.
has a cameo in this film. And
Oh,
what was that, hon?
it was in the beginning. He walks out of the pet shop with his two terriers while she's walking into the pet shop. Of
Yeah.
course, I didn't see it when I was watching it, but then I watched it again for a little bit here and there. I watched some of it, and then I saw him coming out of the pet shop with his dogs. I had the names down. Over there, Jeffrey and Stanley
Yeah, there you go.
were the name of his dogs.
Yeah.
So if you watch right in the beginning where she's walking in, he walks out with his two dogs.
Yeah, he always
He liked doing his cameo in his movies, right?
yeah. But at that point in his career, he tried to do them at the beginnings of the movies because he found that people were taking too much time watching for him and not paying attention to the movies. So
Oh yeah.
North by Northwest, which we just did the other week, is right at the very beginning also. Yeah.
What is he doing that?
Well, he misses the bus.
Oh,
He runs up to the bus and the doors close in his face.
oh jeez. Okay.
Yeah, he doesn't quite make it on. I think he goes. Doesn't he go on, Ross? And then what happens is he comes right off, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he makes it on. He runs up to the bus and the doors close
Or
on
the
him.
doors.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there
You
you go.
got it.
You got it,
That's
yeah.
great. I didn't see that when we first watched it, Roy.
No, I missed it too. But that's the beauty of the internet. You can go back and rewatch it again and again.
What was the name of the pet shop?
Oh, the pet shop was Davidson's Pet Shop.
Davidson's.
Yeah. Mom and Glenn said, "Lady Bundy, your mother had a budgie named Tuffy who was jealous of your brother and would walk down his bottle to get to his face. That was before you were born."
Tuffy. I remember Tuffy.
Aw. Aw.
Seemed like back then everybody had the little parakeets because my grandparents even had one. I think his name was Sam.
Marion said, "The children singing in the schoolhouse is the most annoying song ever." Now,
Yes,
they were
it is.
saying about that song, right,
Listen
Ross?
to Rosselty. Yeah,
Nickety knackety nickety knackety nickety.
I know the song, but I didn't remember it being in that movie.
I think he probably chose it to be, irritating as the birds would build up on the.
So we would have
Yeah.
kind of satisfaction vicariously as the crows attack them.
Yeah.
Speaking of crows and birds, let's share a few of the a few scenes. And there, of course, are the lovebirds.
Now, what about the stuff that they get away with in this movie? You would never be able to do this today. First, she poses as the pet store employee.
Yep.
Then she just takes it upon herself to go up there. Then she's asking everybody for info. You could never get that kind of information from people nowadays. You call up, it was a different world.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
And she was driving an Aston Martin there.
Yeah.
Exactly. Before James Bond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
Only difference is hers was a convertible.
Yeah.
And presumably it didn't have machine guns and things.
Smoke screen, bulletproof
Smoke screen, that's it.
oil slick.
It should have had all that. Then they could have fought the birds off.
You check the birds out, right, with the ejector seat.
The one scene where that guy gets blown up by his car. That was pretty intense.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that was awesome.
That
Because it was the same guy who was bad mouthing the birds.
right.
Yeah.
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 But that's such a great scene where they're looking out.
It is.
It's so Hitch, because I don't know if you noticed or not, but they're looking out the windows of the diner. You see the guy lighting the cigar, and they're saying, "Oh, don't drop the match! Don't drop the match!" Of course, he drops the match, and then you see the horror unfold, and they show Tippi's face. Did you notice the intercutting? She looks like here, and then something happens, and then you see her look like this, and the flames continue, and she looks like this, and the gas station explodes. But it's totally unrealistic, but that's exactly how it is when something goes down, where everything's just kind of like it becomes, those images are just fixed in your mind. It's not at all realistic, and yet psychologically, it's totally realistic. And I loved it when he blew up.
Yeah, it was a great scene. That's
You
a
weren't
great
rooting. You weren't rooting for him, Ross.
Yeah, that guy was an asshole.
Well.
Whoops.
But it was a horrific scene, though, just the same. Not as horrific as having your eyes pecked out, but
Yeah, that was.
Well, and speaking of that, there was a cinematic device that was used in that, and that was very interesting too, because when Mitch's mom goes to the farmhouse to check on the one guy, and then she goes in, and then she sees that the glasses are all broken, and then she makes her way into the next room, and then what happens is they show the guy, and it's kind of like a semi-long shot, and then what happens is they do this semi-close-up shot, and then they do this extra close-up shot, and you see his eyes like on the third shot, but you don't see him on the first and the second. And then she goes out screaming, and it really just builds up, and all of this happens like within seconds. It's a little choppy, but you know what? The way they make movies today, the whole movie is choppy, where they're jumping from one scene to the other within like one. It's like this. The guy is walking, and he's already on the other side of the room before they even get there. You know what I mean? At least with this, it's for climatic purposes, the way they build it up, and then she comes like screaming out.
yeah, it's intentional. Yeah.
It was an interesting device.
Akira Kurosawa, who did Seven Samurai and all the famous Japanese samurai movies and things, he did that technique where he would often zoom in on three things on a shot. And I don't know if Hitch took that from him or not, but by coincidence, Kurosawa saw this movie and he put it on his list of top 10 films,
Yeah.
which I thought was interesting. In addition, the writer of this movie, who was Evan Hunter, he's the guy who did the screenplay adapted from the Daphne du Maurier novel. Kurosawa adapted a film from one of his novels called the movie's called High and Low. I don't know what the novel was called, but it's about he's a corporate like CEO or something who has his son kidnapped. So it's a kidnap thriller. And it's always Toshiro Mifune who's in all these things. But it's like this weird round robin, if we're going to stick with the birds, where Hitchcock is using this Kurosawa technique with the three choppy zooms in there. Kurosawa names it one of his favorite movies, and then he adapts Evan Hunter's, the screenwriter's book into his own movie, which, by the way, Spike Lee just remade, and they're going to have it on this summer in August. It's coming out. I think it's Higher and Lower or something, or Higher to Lower. So, and I think Denzel Washington's playing the Toshiro Mifune part.
Oh, you can't go wrong with Denzel.
Yeah. And Jeffrey Wright's going to be in it too. But I don't know much about it. But Scorsese was going to remake it. I know about the movie. I saw the movie, but Scorsese was going to do it with David Mamet screenplay at some point, but it fell through. That would have been something to see. But anyway,
There's so many different levels to this movie, and it seems simple, but there's a lot of levels, because the one thing about his mom, Lydia, she's overbearing, and she, loves him so much that, she doesn't think any woman is good enough for him. And then you find out that Tippi, Melanie's mom, left when she was a little girl, so she had no mom to love her. And there's just like, and then with Suzanne Plechette's character, Annie Hayworth, the whole thing with her and Mitch, the whole thing that happened with them, and how Lydia was overbearing and then they didn't make it. And I mean, there's just so many different little stories
Yeah.
besides just the birds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of character development, a lot
Yeah.
of psychological character development going on
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah.
And even with even Veronica Cartwright's character, Kathy, who is Mitch's sister, she's much younger than Mitch. I mean, I think she was only, I think, maybe 13, or she's supposed to be maybe 13, and Mitch is 32. So it's almost like he's almost like a father figure than a brother.
Yeah, because they lost the father.
They lost the father, yeah. So there's that aspect of that going on as well.
It's like little soap opera-y things going on there.
Right. Maybe I'm too hard on the birds.
Well, and that's the driving factor too, because you're sympathetic to Lydia, Jessica Tandy's character, because she comes across as hard, but at the same time she's very scared. And she even says at one point, when after they've gone through everything that they've gone through and they're in the house, and she's like, please don't, she's saying to Melanie, Tippi Hedren, please don't leave me alone. Yeah. But at the same point in time, she says, I don't know if I really like you.
Right.
But, so she has that conflict. And then she also wants her to look after Kathy, because she's worried about her and she's asking for her help. So to your point, Shari, there's a lot of dynamics that are going on back and forth. And then, of course, the birds being the motivator for all of this. It's kind of bringing everybody together.
And even I love the scene before the car blows up in the restaurant or in the diner. All the different characters, the one guy saying, it's the end of the world, and he's quoting scripture, and, and then you got Mrs. Bundy, and then you got the fisherman.
Yeah, Charles McGraw. Yeah.
I just love that scene because there's all these different characters, and they're just adding all their, and then the hysterical mother with the two little kids saying, please don't talk so loud. You're scaring the children. And she's great too. Her character, she slaps Melanie.
Yeah.
It's your fault. You're evil. And she
has the meltdown.
Yeah. You have all these different types, all these different characters in there. Yeah. That guy who was screaming about the scripture and stuff, apparently Alfred Hitchcock modeled that on the Irish playwright Sean O'Casey, who he knew, was friendly with him. And this is interesting, too, because a few years later, Rod Taylor would play Sean O'Casey in a film by John Ford called Young Cassidy. So, again, it's just like one of these coincidental things. The fisherman was Charles McGraw, who was in all these noir movies. He always played like a hard-bitten policeman. My favorite film of his was The Narrow Margin with Marie Windsor. And I remember there's this dialogue going on between him and this other cop, this other flatfoot there. And it's like, so what do you think of her? She's cheap or something like that. He said he says she's a 60-cent special. She's all poison under the gravy. That was the line.
Oh my God.
60-cent special. Yeah, all poison under the gravy.
They don't say that in movies these days.
No, it's a great line. And Charles McGraw, he was a heroic drinker, and he had problems later in life. I know he fell through a shower door, glass shower, and that's how he died.
Oh wow.
Lonnie Chapman was the guy. He was one of the workers in the diner, and I was trying to remember where I knew him from. And he was a character actor, did different movies, and he was actually in a series with William Shatner in '65 that he did right before Star Trek, and it was called For the People, where Shatner's character was a DA. So I thought that was interesting too. There's all these.
Did we see that? Did I see that with you?
When I saw I don't think you did. I was watching I had learned about For the People years ago, and I was interested in seeing it. But this is back like in the 1980s, and this is before cable and then also YouTube. But when I was in the hospital and trying to pass the time, and I actually watched probably like about 8 or 9 of the episodes because they have them on there, and I really enjoyed it. Jessica Walter was played William Shatner's wife in that too. and that was, I think, one of the first things that she did at the beginning of her career. So yeah, it was good. And again, it was like right before Star Trek, literally like the year before. But and speaking of different folks and talking about connections, in regards to Veronica Cartwright, we'd like to do like All Roads Lead to Star Trek. There is a Star Trek connection with this, and I remember hearing about this a long time ago. She was married to Richard Compton, who was an actor and then became a director. And Richard Compton was actually in 2 episodes of Star Trek. He was in the Doomsday Machine, playing the character of Washburn, who was part of the boarding party that was trying to repair the USS Constellation with Scotty. And then also he was a Romulan in the Enterprise incident. So that is the episode with Joanna Linville, when Kirk seems to be having a mental breakdown, and he's like lost his mind, and pretty much he's on Federation orders with Spock to try to get the cloaking device from the Romulans. So there's that connection. And then, of course, there's also the Lost in Space connection. Veronica Cartwright is sister to Angela Cartwright, who was Penny Robinson on Lost in Space. So, and then I'll even take it a step further, which I don't have slides for, but if you remember the 1978 classic Invasion of the Body Snatchers, she was in that. She was the wife of Jeff. Oh my goodness,
Goldblum. No, not Jeff. It wasn't Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, it was her. She was the girlfriend to Jeff Goldblum, or wife. Yeah. And then, of course, in 1979, the movie Alien. She was also in that.
So she goes screaming from the birds to the body snatchers to the alien.
I read that she was going to be. They were going to cast her as Ripley, but then she got cast as Lambert instead in Alien.
Huh.
Yeah,
that would have been a totally, different.
Yeah,
it's amazing though how that could, one film or one television appearance or TV show can change your entire career.
Yeah,
if you think about it, and really, everything would have gone in a different direction.
She was still so young in Alien, but she'd been acting since 1958. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
As a child actor. Yeah.
Bill saying, when my mom saw it on TV, she was upset by the ending. Oh, well, as an adult, when I watched it, I realized that the ending is great. The mother has accepted Tippi and they became a family.
Well, there's a glass half full. It's true. I mean, it is true, but you're kind of like this. Don't you have this dread at the end when you see like the birds? We're talking about, well, what do we do? Maybe they'll bring in the military. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely going the other way.
It gives you the warm fuzzies.
Well, and to Bill's point about the ending too, Hitchcock really just wanted to conjure up dread, and he did not put the usual the end title that is on these movies. Back in the day, it pretty much is them driving out and the sounds of the birds just chirping away.
Yeah, it kind of floors you when it goes to the universal symbol. It's like, what? That was the end? Mm-hmm. Aren't you going to throw us a bone? Look at these. Yeah, I forget how many. There, as Shari said, there were 3,200 birds in the movie, but I had written down. Oh yeah, there was in the final shot there were 370 effect shots in the film, but that final shot was 32 separate elements composited to make up all the birds. Wow. The chief effects artist, do you know this? Was Ub Iwerks.
From Disney, right?
Ub Iwerks co-created Mickey Mouse with Walt Disney. He's the one that fleshed out the whole design of the Steamboat Willie, where he has the gloves and he's bouncing. He drew all those Mickey Mouse cartoons for the first couple of years before he and Walt had the falling out. And he said, well, I'm going to go work somewhere else. He eventually went back to Disney, and then he started working in visual effects mostly. And he was worked on Song of the South, which is a film we don't really see anymore because it's the sensitivity for reasons of sensitivity. It's the post it's the Uncle Remus tales, Zippity Doodah. You know that one. Yep. He's the one who incorporated the animation with the live action and was able to coordinate that. But he was nominated for several Academy Awards. Well, he's nominated for an Academy Award for this. Do you know this? Right?
No.
Okay. I'll tell you exactly what it was. I had to write it down though. If I can understand my handwriting, even there were 3 awards that he was up for that year, and I guess 2 of them were he did win. But I think one of them was like kind of an honorary award. It was kind of for a technical achievement, is what it was. He won an Oscar for technical achievement for an improved optical printer for special effects and matte shots, and he won an award of merit. Now that's the honorary one. I think the award of merit for the conception and perfection of techniques for color traveling matte composite cinematography. Wow. And I think it's because that was used in Mary Poppins, because you know that Feed the Bird segment in Mary Poppins.
Yes.
There was like a kind of a rolling mat thing that he developed for that. And I think that's what they were honoring him for, because it was the same year.
Right.
But interesting, Feed the Birds again.
Yeah.
But there was another award that it was for he was nominated for Best Special Effects. That's what it was. And he lost to
Cleopatra,
who took the award that year. So,
Oh.
But it was interesting to me because I saw his name in the opening credits. I never realized he did anything but the animation. I knew him for Mickey Mouse, and I said, "OB works. What's going on?"
Yeah, I knew about the Walt Disney connection, and they were actually having problems with the matte shots because they couldn't get it right where it was looking like it looked like it didn't look real. I mean,
yeah, they didn't want to do the blue screen,
right?
You know? Yeah.
So they brought him in, and when you think about it, all the work that went into it and what they achieved at that time, it's pretty amazing. I would have loved to see this on the big screen, though.
Yeah.
First of all, it's interesting that he went back to Disney after having that falling out. But second, it's interesting that Disney, even back then, was kind of like tiptoeing into because he didn't, that studio didn't have reputation for a reputation for working in this kind of movie. Whereas now, you have what is it, Deadpool and Wolverine, or they produced the new Alien movie or whatever,
Did
But
you see that, Ross?
I did not. But for Disney to be involved in a movie where birds are pecking people's eyes out, I think that's interesting.
Hey, Linda's joining us from Canada. Hey, Linda, thanks for being out there.
And then
Feed the birds.
I think this movie is interesting too because, Ross, they don't use a musical score.
Yes.
There's like just the sound effects. And
I was just going to say, Shari, I was just going to go.
I jumped.
You
Did
jumped.
I jump on your thing?
You did, but that's okay.
Did you get a picture? Did you get a picture of the Tritonium?
No, I did not. But I was going to say,
I have it.
I always throw this.
Oh,
there
it is.
Can you make me bigger?
Can I make you bigger? Sure, I can make you bigger. But before I make you bigger, I'm going to do the lead-in. I was going to pose the question to Ross and say, who is the movie composer for this? Because
I'm sure he knows.
Always has a movie composer, but the answer was there was none. It was the sound consultant was Bernard Herrmann, and he was the one that suggested that there would be no music for this. Yeah. Now, I am going to...
That's not all he did, but that's...
Hang on. Whoops.
You did it wrong.
I thought this was cool.
Oh, look at that.
This is like the coolest thing. It's a Tritonium. Is that how you say it, Ross?
Troutonium.
And it did all the sound effects for the birds, a lot of it. And it looks like a organ and an old computer. That's the coolest. And I had never really heard of that before.
Yeah, it's a precursor to the synthesizer, is what it is.
Imagine playing that thing. Look at the pedal. That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure how one of those works. I only know of it. I've never heard it played or how they have to mess with it with the wires and what have you. But the two composers, the two sound people, what do they get? Electronic sound production and composition is what they were credited as in this movie. It was Oscar Sala and Remy Gossman. And the two of those guys partnered on electronic compositions. They did a ballet for George Balanchine where it was all electronics, and they recorded albums and things like that. We're just right off the electronic, off the Troutonium and that sort of thing. But it's interesting because in this, as Roy says, there's no music in the movie. Bernard Herrmann was the sound consultant, and I guess he kind of said, "Well, here's where we should have, you know, the bird cries," is what
Right.
he did. It was his idea that there should be no music in this movie.
So, quick question. So, the tritonium, was this the first movie that the tritonium was actually utilized in then?
To my knowledge, I don't know. It doesn't seem like an instrument they would have. I mean, there were experimental electronic scores with like Forbidden Planet and that sort of thing, but they didn't use this particular instrument.
In the beginning of the movie, they just have the birds flying, and they have the sound effects for the birds. And as a birder, I was like, that doesn't sound like any birds. I was trying to pick out certain species and stuff, and I'm like, I don't hear any birds in there. Just all blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
like because when I watch movies or shows or anything, Roy will tell you, I'm always listening for what kind of birds they have in the background, and then I'll always critique it because sometimes they have birds where they're not supposed to be.
Exactly.
That seems to happen more often than not, too.
Yeah, like the pileated or pileated, you can say either way. The woodpecker they use in jungle scenes for the monkey sounds. And I was just watching my soap opera the other day, and they're in France. They're supposed to be in south of France, and they had a yellow-throated vireo in the background, and France doesn't have any vireos. So anyway, when I was watching the birds, I'm like, oh my God, like I don't hear any birds. Like I can't pick out any bird species. It's just all like a mix of stuff.
Yeah, it's
And
supposed to be.
then when I read up on everything after we watched the movie, I watched it again, and then I appreciated it more because I understood what they were trying to do.
Yeah. It is funny when you have that specialized knowledge and then you're watching movies. It happens all the time. Yeah, like with the music too, and how people play instruments and what have you. But yeah, stuff like that where they go to the library and say, "Oh, we need some bird sounds." They put it in.
I just pick them out.
Not thinking about what part of the world they're in or what have you, or their monkey sounds. Yeah.
I think I drive her way crazy because we go to the movies or we were watching a movie and I'll say, a pileated woodpecker, a goldfinch. Oh, I hear a cricket. He's just like, oh my God, can we just watch the movie?
No, I'm amused by it. Well, it's like me when I watch like the older films or the older TV shows because I'm always picking out the different actors. I'll say, oh, this was so and so from this or that. When it comes to stuff that's contemporary, forget it. I mean, I fall off when you get past the 90s or the mid 90s. It's like, I don't know, it's all downhill.
The two of you have to watch a movie with David Frankham, and you can all drive each other crazy. Just be talking through the whole movie.
Roy can finally separate. He knows the cardinal from the robin now.
Yeah, this is true.
He used to call the cardinal a robin and the robin a cardinal,
and vice versa. It's just, yeah, true story. Interesting that you mentioned David Frankham, though, Ross, because the connection with David Frankham to this movie is that Rod Taylor did the voice of, I think it was it Poppy in 101 Dalmatians.
That's right.
So there's that connection to David Frankham with Disney. Yeah. So, which is pretty cool.
I wonder if he has any Ub Iwerks stories.
Yeah, right. Mom said Mitch chose the convertible to drive away instead of his sedan or even the pickup because the Aston is faster. The birds would never break through the soft too.
Yeah, that was curious that they took the convertible or whatever it was.
Oh, Jeff Rubel is joining us from Utah. Welcome, Jeff. Good to see you.
I found it interesting too. Some of the scenes where the birds were attacking, there were no screaming. Like the scene where the sparrows were coming through the chimney, there was no screaming. It's just. And then also when she saw the guy with the eyes pecked out, she did not scream. She was just like, oh.
That was actually, I think, I'm sure he did that on purpose for more of a dramatic effect.
I think so. And she wasn't screaming. And I noticed this second time I watched. She wasn't screaming in the telephone booth. She's just.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I just thought it was cool how they did that. Like, and there was screaming during the party, the kids' party, and there was screaming when they were running down the road from the school.
From the
Yeah,
school.
because it's satisfying when kids are getting pecked by
Screaming.
birds. And you want to hear them scream. Yeah,
But the women and even the little girl, Kath,
yeah.
did not scream. There was no screaming or yelling when they were coming into the living room from the chimney thing.
Yeah, that was a pretty amazing for the time. You know, just how they did that with the sparrows coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, they wound up again. It was a composite. They did some stuff where they had the birds flying in
Yeah.
a
The sparrows.
yeah
That was
in a container at the same time, and just kind of filled it in with stuff. It was really good the way they layered stuff, especially in that scene, to make it seem so busy.
You know, it was interesting too in regards to the birds. The studio spent an estimated, now this is the time again, 1962, estimated $200,000 on creating mechanical birds for the film, but the majority of the birds that were seen were real. So that's pretty interesting.
Apparently, on that jungle gym. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you in the middle of saying?
No, go ahead. It's okay.
No, on that jungle gym or on the playground where the birds are amassing. You know, every shot you see more birds, and then suddenly there's like a gazillion birds. Yep. Apparently, some of those were most of those were fake, and they had some real ones in there. But it was so well done. You know, at that point, I didn't really even notice.
Most of the birds that they called crows were ravens.
Right.
They were ravens.
Yeah.
And then another tidbit was Tippi Hedren. She wore essentially throughout the entire movie the same outfit.
Oh.
They actually had 6 of those outfits made, and one of them was actually being showcased in Ireland at a museum called Museum of Style Icons. And I think she did a special public appearance when it was being showcased. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is cool.
Yeah, the dress was designed by Edith Head, who was a legendary, costume designer, did hundreds of movies. But she described it as eau de Nile, like the Nile water, the water of the Nile, which is very attractive sounding color for description of the color.
Well, the thing that cracked me up was the mink coat. I was like, wearing a mink coat. What's it? And she's in this outboard motorboat with the mink coat on and her high heels.
And her heels. Did you see her heels in the first scene there, or the first shot?
She wore heels the whole movie when they went up on the kids' party, and they were up in the sand dunes. She's like almost tripping because she has heels on. I'm like, why would you wear heels?
And that coif. How do you do your hair like that?
But the mink coat was killing me. I'm like,
no,
what time of year is it? Why are you wearing a mink coat?
Bill, she dry cleaned the costume like Mel Brooks did his. He also said the chasing bird were trained to land on people's shoulders. They were trying to land. Yeah, there was actually, and Rod Taylor was quoted as saying that there was one specific bird, even when they weren't shooting, that just did not like him. And I forget the name of him, but he pretty much had it in for him. And he was like, the feeling was mutual.
Didn't he say something like they were giving him like wheat and whiskey to kind of like keep him calm?
Another thing that would not fly, no pun intended, today.
Yeah, it was the only thing that would keep the gulls tame was to give them whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh
whiskey and rye.
Nice.
Oh, boy.
Or they could have just been zombie birds. Maybe they got bit by zombies.
There you go.
I did have one thing where it was a quote supposedly on an interview. See if I can find it now. Go ahead, honey. I'm going to keep looking for it. Oh, here it is.
Go ahead.
Alfred Hitchcock supposedly in an interview said, birds in the film rise up against the humans to punish them for taking nature for granted.
That's as good as any. I mean, again, that's kind of forward looking.
Yeah.
But it's the basis for any of those animal attacks movies that they made later.
I read a book I read a book called The Swarm,
Yep.
and it was about animals rebelling against humans.
It wasn't the one that it wasn't the movie that they didn't make the movie from the book, right? With the killer
No, it was
bees.
a book. The book was like this thick.
Oh, okay.
It was good. I didn't like the ending, but it was a good book. I read it years ago, and there was one part in the book where fishermen were out fishing and I think in the ocean, and the dolphins were jumping in the boat, and all these like dolphins kept jumping in the boat to sink the boat to kill the fishermen. And then there was other scenes like where the animals would attack the people because they were like rebelling against the humans.
Yeah, like Moby Dick.
Yeah.
Or those orcas in Spain. Yeah, they keep
Orca.
ramming the yachts and sinking the yachts. Yeah.
Martin asked, "How did this movie rank?" This film actually ranked 17th in 1963 as far as films being released that year, and it grossed approximately 11.4 million in the U.S. and just under 14 million internationally. So did rather well, and it was made on an estimated budget of about $2.5 million.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So, and let's see. Jeff Ribble said that explains all the alcoholic ravens today. He's saying, talking about Mel Brooks, didn't the parody The Birds in one of his films?
Yeah, High Anxiety.
High Anxiety. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
And Don said, Day of the Animals is another good one if you want to see Leslie Nielsen wrestle a bear.
And you know we do.
Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Or Jaws. Yeah, Jaws.
Now, wasn't there a sequel? They tried to make a sequel to this?
Yeah, and I heard it wasn't good.
much later, though. It was in the 90s.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it existed.
The Birds 2, Land's End, directed by Rick Rosenthal.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Yeah, and I think Tippi had a cameo in it, and I think she was disappointed that she did not have a bigger role. Evidently, it wasn't good. She wasn't. It was not well received.
They talk about remaking it every once in a while. I wish they would just leave this stuff alone.
Agreed.
But somebody wants to do a straightforward adaptation of the Daphne du Maurier story, which would set it in Cornwall. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. I mentioned Jamaica Inn was set in Cornwall, but it's not an American setting. And if you've seen Rebecca or I never read Rebecca or My Cousin Rachel. I know the movie Rebecca, but those are also set in England. Yeah. She wasn't real happy that it was transferred to California.
Yeah,
I thought it worked.
Yeah,
it's a different animal. It's a different movie,
right.
Because the story is very focused on one family, and this takes in the whole community, and it's a beachside community, and as I said, the guy was a farmer in Cornwall, and isolated. It's different.
Oh, I know. I wanted to say something, and it's sort of funny. You know how I'm always about the shower scenes since Soylent Green with the shower scene.
Yeah.
Closest shower scene in this movie was the her jumping in the fountain naked in Rome. But supposedly she said she didn't jump in the fountain naked. She had her clothes on.
Yeah. I mean, you expect that somebody who would go to all that trouble with the lovebirds to actually sneak into the guy's house and leave him there with the net.
Oh my God.
She did it. She jumped into that fountain. What about that shot when she's speeding up there in the Aston Martin and the birds are they show them shifting?
Birds wouldn't be doing that. You know what they would be doing?
Yeah.
Flapping all over the cage and the feathers would be flying. There's no way they'd be going like this.
Yeah.
That was hysterical.
Yeah.
Randy said, imagine walking into a room and suddenly everyone turns on you. That's the birds.
Birds. It is funny, though, after I watched this movie, when I went out walking and I would hear flapping and I'd see, like 5 or 10 birds around, I'd be like, okay. Okay.
The most innocuous creatures. Yeah. And they make them the
They
terror.
should have used blue jays in this movie because blue jays are the most obnoxious birds on earth. They're smart,
You
but
got to
they're
give them a peanut. Yeah.
hate blue jays. Most birders hate blue jays because they're obnoxious. They got nasty sounds. They gobble up all the food you put out. They chase the other birds away from your feeders. Yeah,
Well,
they should have used blue jays.
they are afraid of red belly.
Yes, the red belly
They
rule.
stay away from when red belly's in the feeder. They stay clear of that beak.
I'm always clapping at them. Get. I'm always
And they're
chasing
also frustrated when the squirrel sits in the feeder
the squirrel.
because squirrel don't care.
Yeah, the squirrel.
Squirrel trumps blue jays.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But red belly trumps blue
Damn
jays.
blue jays.
Yeah.
Do you still have your bird bath heated bird bath?
Only in the winter. I don't have it on now, but I do have it. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I use mine. I just unplug it. I use 2 bird baths. They love the bird baths.
I still have to fill it up all the time though because it evaporates.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I need a bigger bird bath. You're gonna need a bigger bird bath.
So,
That's what they should have said in this movie. Ron Taylor should have come in and, or you know who should have done it? Charles McGraw. You're gonna need a bigger bird bath
Love the birds.
before he gets devoured by a seagull. Yeah.
so what do you think on a yay or nay for the movie?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you. I'll start with you.
I'd say nay when I first watched it, and then I say a thumbs up now because I read all about it, and then I watched it again, and I enjoyed it more the second time.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
It definitely is.
I say yay. It's not my favorite Hitchcock movie, but it's effectively done. There's probably more to it than I give credit for. I mean, I was looking for themes as Shari, delineated for us, and I did note that the characters all had certain flaws and how they were kind of coming together as a family and that sort of thing. But to me, it's missing something for me, but I think it's still a good movie and a must see. I just don't think it's one of his timeless classics, even though everybody still loves it. And it's probably one of the 2 Hitchcock movies that everybody knows, with Psycho.
Yeah, it's like your go-to Hitchcock film.
Right.
Yeah, I think what makes this potentially scary is it's dealing with nature, and we don't know what actually caused the birds to kind of run amok or do what they're doing. So it's like, who could say it couldn't happen? So it's one of those things that it's like, obviously at 99.999% it's not going to happen, but there's that 0.000000001% chance maybe it could. So it just, we never find out, which is great. I do enjoy television shows or movies where you're left with your imagination to say, why did this happen? What was the reason? We don't know. It's you kind of like have to formulate it in your own mind. So
what did you formulate in your mind what you thought the reason was?
I have no idea. I mean, it could have been a natural occurrence. It could have been, one thing I thought was interesting is that there is an aerial shot after the explosion takes place, and it's almost like the bird or birds are looking at the explosion at like, look what we've done.
Bird's eye view.
Bird's eye. Yeah, exactly. Bird's eye view. But it's also more. Yeah, it's more. Yeah, more than that. Where it's kind of calculating. It's almost like they did this and they're waiting to see what more they could do. There's something's implied there, but we don't know exactly what that is.
Could you imagine? Yeah, like how birds have that murmuration. You've heard that term where they kind of are mentally and so in sync that they mimic each other's motions exactly. Could you imagine if that would kind of happen with the the
And
gulls and the
they never
ravens.
hit each other.
Yeah, not to get off your train of thought here, but
No,
yeah.
no. That's all I have to say about that. But it's
I still think it's because they didn't leave the lovebirds out of the cage.
Yeah. Well, and what makes it so great is that it takes something that's so innocuous, something that nobody really, it's a background. You hear the birds in the background, you don't really pay attention, and make that such a terrifying threat, to humanity, kind of thing. So what next? The salamanders.
Martin said it's like the Day of the Triffids. That was also 1963. We've covered
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, same.
Make sure
same
you have
year.
your seawater handy. Yeah.
Yep. And Linda said, "I'll have to send you my crow attack story. Too long for a year." Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
So
Tippy's still alive, by the way. She's 95.
she's 95, and and I think we were talking about it earlier, how there was a little bit in regards to her age. For the longest time, they were saying she was born in 35 instead of 1930.
I saw her once. She came to the Philadelphia Orchestra does a Halloween concert every year, and she came and talked about the movie a little bit and talked about that's the ironic thing. She suffered so much and had so many problems with Hitchcock, and yet her fame is so hitched to this movie. That her appearances are tied into talking about the birds, and then she recited the Raven. Oh, I froze up?
Nope, I did.
Oh, well, who cares?
Nice.
Oh, now Sherry's frozen.
Oh boy.
There you are.
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
Did I freeze or did I get it out?
You're next,
froze.
Ross.
Say that again, Ross.
Oh, no. Do I have to say it again?
Yes.
Which part? What did you miss?
The whole thing.
Oh.
You
I was
froze.
just saying I saw her. Yeah, Philadelphia Orchestra does Halloween concert every year, and she was the guest one year. The irony is that her popularity is so tied up with the birds, she has to talk about this movie all the time, despite all of the anxiety that she had, all of the suffering with her and with Hitchcock and everything.
Yeah.
But so she made appearances that talk about the birds, and she recited the Raven at the concert. So there you go. It must have been at least 20 years ago, though, because she wasn't anywhere near 95.
Yeah, she was actually at Chiller Theater, and I didn't have the opportunity to talk with her, unfortunately. But she does do convention appearances, or she was doing convention appearances. I'm not sure if she still is doing convention appearances. But, yeah.
Oh, and Rod Taylor, I meant to mention, we were talking about him.
Yep.
One of his last appearances. I don't know if did you see Inglourious Bastards, the Quentin Tarantino?
Yes, he was in that.
Yeah, he had the one scene where he plays Churchill. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God, it's Rod Taylor. I haven't seen him in forever.
Wow.
That was his last role then, right?
It was one of his last roles, if not the last role. Yeah. And originally Hitchcock didn't really want him for the lead. They were considered. I think it was Sean Connery he was thinking about for the lead at that.
I could see almost like a resemblance between the two. I mean, Rod Taylor was an Australian actor, where Sean Connery was, Scotsman, but they have a similar look. But somebody else that was being considered, I think, was Cary Grant. I think.
They mentioned. I read that, but I can't imagine because he already seems so. Even though he's younger than us, he already seems so old in North by Northwest. I can't imagine him living with his mother and convincingly playing that part. But Connery was in Marnie then the next year with Tippi.
Right.
And there was also talk of maybe getting Audrey Hepburn to play the Tippi Hedren part for the birds.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think Audrey Hepburn's too inherently likable to have played that role, and she wasn't blonde.
Yeah. That definitely would have taken it in a different direction.
Interestingly, Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn were in Charade, though, a few years later, which was not a Hitchcock movie, but it may as well have been. It was it was like a Hitchcock movie not made by Hitchcock.
Yeah. And there you have it.
A little bit of a remake of the Maltese Falcon, too, to some extent. But
Yeah.
Well,
My computer has froze.
Did we see that movie, honey?
Which
Charade.
one?
No, Inglorious Bastards.
No,
No.
no. I mean, I saw part of it, but and
I don't
I
think so.
read that he was in it, and I knew it was a Tarantino film.
Tarantino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I run hot and cold on him. That was one of the. I kind of liked it. I really didn't like the two westerns that I thought I would love. You know, the Django Unchained and Hateful Eight. But you know, that one I liked, Glorious Bastards. I don't know if that's a recommendation or not, though.
Yeah, check it out. It doesn't have to be.
I don't know if you'll like it, but
Bill said the birds are attacking the internet lines when we had the freezing.
exactly.
Linda commented one other. Yeah, my internet. Speaking of internet, although I will say that by the end of the incident, one dang crow had called hundreds of his buddies to come and intimidate me from the power line.
Wow.
I can't wait to hear this story, Linda.
Wow. Wow. Were there
Wow.
nests nearby?
Oh boy,
The drones, yeah.
drones. Yeah, that's funny. But
Did
anyway,
Did you get Martin's comment? It says maybe the lovebirds had a virus that upset the local birds.
yeah, I saw that before.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Another interesting idea Hitchcock had for the final shot was to have the Golden Gate Bridge just covered with birds.
Oh right.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, because they wrote an alternate ending for this, but they just didn't film it.
Mm.
I didn't really care for the ending that much, but I get it. You know, leave the imagination thing, but I wanted a little bit more, I think.
That's a great shot, though.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted a little more, I don't know what of, but
Yeah.
it's just like, because I asked Roy, I said, is that the end?
It did kind of seem like, okay, we're at 2 hours, we're going to end the thing.
Yeah.
You know, because it ends like in 1 hour, 59 minutes or something.
I know.
But that's a sign of a good movie, wanting more, right? I mean, you were looking
That's
for
true.
more, so it really, there's some films which, it's like, oh my god, I can't get
Yeah,
through
is
it.
it over yet? Like District 9.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you mean Dark
Dark
Star? Dark
And like District 9.
District 9, yeah. No, and I felt
Oh.
Mike and Mary Beth, they felt bad about that, but it was a film that needed to be covered. And just to talk about that, just really briefly, like for 30 seconds, Dan O'Bannon even said it. I mean, it would have been remembered as a wonderful student film, but then instead of being this forgettable professional film, it's just that
Well,
some things you just got to leave alone.
Yeah, it's not forgettable, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, forgettable's strong. I commend their actions because, as we remembered, and I'm not trying to it is kind of parallel, but just on a smaller shoestring budget. When we used to make Super 8 films growing up, I mean, we put everything we had into it, and you did what you did, and you try to make it happen. So it's all about the creativity. So I commend them for their, and those guys were powerhouses. I mean, John Carpenter and Dan O'Bannon, and you had Greg Jean, But anyway, I digress.
They had to start somewhere, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, come on, they made it in film school, so
Yeah, exactly. So that's, kudos to them for that. But
yeah.
anyway. All right, folks. Thanks. What we're going to do now is go to the shout out portion of the show, the portion that Ross loves the best. And
It's scarier than the birds. Yeah.
and if you have any last minute comments, please post them. I will come back to them. And speaking of Mike and Mary, actually, let me get this up on the screen so you can hear, and actually you can see what I'm talking about. Talking about Mike and Mary Beth, our friends at Sci-Fi Distilled. They discuss films of the 80s, 90s, and beyond. They will be back. They are doing the month of 1970s, and they will be on this coming Wednesday, which is going to be July 16th. And that will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. They're doing Star Crash, classic 1978 film. Star Crash, incidentally, was the first movie that Ross and I discussed on this show.
I remember.
5 years ago.
No, how could that be 5 years?
That's not even right.
That's when I had my beard.
What was that, Ross?
That's when I had my beard.
That's when you had your beard, your COVID beard,
My COVID beard.
which you shaved on the show. What was it? The
Seven
face
Faces of Dr. Lowe. Yeah.
of Dr.
That
Lowe.
was
Yeah.
so funny. Oh my god.
So anyway, check out Mike and Mary Beth Star Crash. So that'll be this on Wednesday. And I want to give a shout out to Countrygate Players, our friend Bill Scarrato and Countrygate. Bill is back with Bill Scarrato's middle school musical. And the performance dates are Friday, the July 25th, 26th, and 27th. So mark your calendar for information if you are in the Lehigh Valley area and if you are near Belvedere, New Jersey. Check it out. www.countrygate.org is the website. Also, you can check out Bill's website, which is www.billscarrato.com. And if Vince is still out there, I know Vince is in the show, so you get to see Vinny Fodi on stage. So check that out. And also our friend Captain Phil of Captain Phil's Planet, WUSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain's schedule is on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and he's also on Friday nights at 9 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So check out Captain Phil. And also, Lou is out there tonight. Lou did Found in Space. This is the latest film that Lou produced. It is available for streaming on YouTube. You can check it out. Lou, if you want to put the URL into the Facebook link, and folks can go to that and check that out.
Hey Lou, I watched the other movie finally.
Oh,
I watched the first one, so now I've seen them both.
Cool.
Entertaining, and you were in them too, Roy.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Lou. It was definitely.
I didn't expect the wig in the first one, but
the blonde wig. Is that Squeaker?
Yes.
Aw,
Squeaker.
Squeaker's making appearance.
Speaker says hi.
Hi,
Aw,
Squeaker.
hey, Squeaker. And I want to give a shout out to the Eagle Obsession documentary. If you're going to be coming to the Space 1999 convention in LA, there's going to be a special screening of this film. www.eagledocumentary.com. Definitely check it out. My friend Jeffrey Morris. It has been produced. It's going to be released. And again, special showing at the convention. So for updates and information about where you can also see it at other locations, check out the website. Again, www.eagledocumentary.com. And speaking of the Space 1999 convention in Los Angeles, the dates are September 12th through the 14th of 2025. And the website address is www.space199950years.com. This is the 50th anniversary of Space 1999 for its premiere. And Barbara Bain, Nick Tate are going to be there. Also, Yasuko Nagazumi, Carl Held, and Catherine Lee Scott, and perhaps some other folks as well, too. So mark your calendars. It's going to be a special event. And there's also going to be simulcast going on with the Italian convention that will be taking place in Italy. And it will be taking place on Breakaway Day, which is, of course, September 13th, 1999. Want to give a shout out to Martha. Now, folks know I've been helping promote Studio One Thrift for the last 2 years since Martha opened this. Martha's actually closing the doors. So if you are in the area, again, in the Lehigh Valley area and in the Stroudsburg area, you can go up there, check it out. You've got to call ahead. And she's doing a 75% discount on her merchandise that is still available. So sadly, it's going to be closing. But she is very appreciative of all the support of everybody that has partaked in Studio One Thrift. So definitely mark your calendars. The doors will be closing as of September 30th of 2025. And also I want to give a shout out to Ryan, my son Ryan, and he is doing his online coaching service. And that is Run by Ryan, Empower Your Run. His website is www.runbyryan.com. There are different levels to sign up. To register for the website is free. If you want to go to the next level, definitely check that out. And he's very passionate about his running, and he will definitely put you on track. Definitely check out the site. And then Ross, if you can let everybody know what you have going on.
All right. Well, these are the 3 recorded shows I've got right now. Picture Perfect's the movie music show. It's on right now. I did all superhero music this week because we have the new Superman coming out today. So if you tune in right this very second, you'll be able to hear the end of John Williams' score for the 1978 Superman. But so that was the theme for this hour for the film music show. Sweetness and Light tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock Eastern Time is all music about fountains so that you can kind of cool off and get into that, chill frame of mind. It's all classical music, lighter music about fountains. Believe it or not, I've got an hour of music about that. The Lost Chord tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We're getting close to Bastille Day. So it's all music by French composers. There was a collective of composers known as Les Six. They were composers that thrived in the late teens and 1920s. And it's all music, their music with the composers themselves performing. So that's Saturday night at 7 o'clock. The programs originate at KWAX. There's the URL. I write about them on my Facebook page. So tomorrow morning I will preview Sweetness and Light and The Lost Chord. And if you go to Classic Ross Amico, you'll be able to find out more about them there and have a link to the shows. And that's it. Thanks.
Great. Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it. And just to remind everybody, if you have not done so already, we broadcast on Facebook, and also we are on YouTube. For Facebook, if you can please be sure to follow, like, and share. There is no cost associated with it. And if you can just spread the word, especially if you enjoy the show, because it'll just help with the numbers. It's an algorithm on Facebook. And then the same thing with YouTube. If you can please also please subscribe and share. Again, no cost associated with that. It's very, very much appreciated. Been doing the show now for 5 years and 3 months, which is crazy. So we're originating in 2025. So with that, I just want to remind everybody, I will be back this Sunday, July 13th, 2025, and I will at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I'm going to be welcoming to the show. It's going to be Bob Wood and Steve Warnack, and we are going to be talking about their project that they have worked on, and it's an audio drama that has just been released, and it is called Helios. In fact, at the Space 1999 convention in 2019, there was a script reading from this. And in fact, Shari was involved in that as well. And I'll just give you the tagline. In a post-apocalyptic future where the Earth lies broken and humanity's remnants cling to survival, 2 strangers must decide whether trust and hope can still exist among the ruins. So anyway, we're going to be talking. I'm going to be talking to Bob and Steve about this, and again, it is Helios, and definitely join in if you are available. There's a lot of folks from Star Trek, the Star Trek universe, that are involved in this production, as well as Nick Tate from Space 1999 for the audio drama. So it's definitely something to check out. And again, that will be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And back and some of the comments that came in. Thank you so much, Michelle. And Lou is saying, thanks, Ross, for checking out.
Thanks for making it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jack, welcome, Jack. He said, I hope you had a great birthday on the 4th.
Thank you. Thanks, Jack.
So
somebody else's birthday's coming up.
Uh-oh. Who's?
My hubby. He's still in his 50s. He hasn't caught up to me yet.
Wow. Well, I'm still in my 50s. What are you trying to say?
You guys are youngins.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Hey, Vince. Thanks, Vince. Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Vinny.
Appreciate it. So anyway, this was fun. I think this was definitely an interesting dive deep into the birds.
It was fun. Thanks for having me on.
Oh,
yeah, thanks for joining us. And I think it's very striking with the black behind you, actually.
Hi.
It really makes you pop.
Yeah. What's coming, though?
Oh, no. Stop it.
Just like the movie poster.
She looks like the poster.
It's just like the movie poster.
Oh no, they go right for the eyes.
You know, I have to use my prop. Mom and Glenn got
anyway,
me.
on that,
These are the coolest things.
Shari's about the props.
All about the props.
Anyway, as we always like to say, it's all about the props. Have a great night, folks. Thank you for tuning in, and hope to see you this Sunday. And enjoy your weekend until then.
Happy
Long and
birding.
prosper.